really took all of us. It was such a blessing. Wow, these people are amazing. They're so nice. So yeah, the ambulance just took all of us. So we all went and we all got to the hospital and we all stayed at the hospital. Hi, my name is Janet and welcome back to my channel, David Love Janet. Wow, these people are amazing. They're so nice. So yeah, the ambulance just took all of us. So we all went and we all got to the hospital and we all stayed at the hospital. It was such a blessing. Wow, these people are amazing. They're so nice. So yeah, the ambulance just took all of us. So we all went and we all got to the hospital and we all stayed at the hospital. In the hospital cafeteria. Because what happened was I got to the hospital. They took my family to the regular admission. I went to the emergency room and got taken up to a midwife-led unit. I got checked. I was only between 2 and 4, I think. Yeah, I think it was like between 2 and 4. I don't want to confuse it with my third birth story now. Between 2 and 4. So they're like, okay, yes, you're too early to be checked in. Because I have to be checked in at like 6. So I'm like, yeah, I know I was not in like active labor yet. I was still in early labor. I know my body from the first experience. So I find my family in the cafeteria, and so I'm there, just I eat, talk with them, we're just relating with each other. And then by the time around like 4 or 5, my labor started to increase. So I let my friend Jenna know, who, Jenna, if you're watching this, thank you so much again for that, for your love and support throughout all my pregnancies. I'm so grateful for you. You're such an awesome friend. And people in the cafeteria are seeing that I'm in labor. I'm in active labor. So one of them calls the midwives, and my friend Jenna comes and takes my sisters and my firstborn. A midwife comes and leads me. I'm not sure if it was Michelle or assistant midwife, because Michelle was a head midwife that helped deliver my birth for my second and my third now, which is amazing here in the UK. And I had another Michelle in the States. So Michelle midwife has been there the entire birth, all 3 births, which has been amazing. I just think that's like God, God's doing, because these midwives are really, truly compassionate and amazing. The prayer point to be praying as a Christian that, the people that attend to you will do a good job with you. Like, you will not be, a project for them. So the midwife comes, assists me with my breathing, which I really, really liked. Throughout my contractions, I had my husband, my first, who was really, really hands-on. So it was really important for me to like get coaching from the midwife. So she leads me into my own birthing room, which is really nice. It has a pool this time, which I wanted for my first, but I couldn't even attempt that because my labor was just too fast. I got to the hospital with my first at 10 centimeters. So I was checked with my second. I wasn't all the way dilated, but I was pretty close. I think I was like 7 something. And so I was like, okay, let me try this pool experience. I always wanted to try a water birth. So I go into the pool and I start having back contractions. I've watched these kind of stories before, read these kind of things. I'm just like, no, not be having back contractions. And then my labor was like slowing down. I wasn't feeling as much contractions anymore. I'm like, I can't do this. I had to get out the water. And I explained to her that what happened with my first is like I pooped, and then it brought the head right down. So when I got to the hospital, I was already 10 centimeters, ready to push. I had pooped at home, and that's when I lost my mucus plug. So she's like, okay, try and use the toilet. Have you gone to the toilet recently today? And I'm like, no, I've not gone to the toilet today. So I went into the toilet, I pooped, and it brought the head right down, because you can tell when the head is right down when your contractions are really strong and you get this push. So I was checked again. I got, I was told I was 10, and the midwife coached me to breathe through and push out the baby. And that's what happened. I pushed out the baby, and then my second was born. And I used the stirrups like I did with my first, and I kind of pushed that and then, tell my body to like push as well. Vaginally, vaginally. That was my second birth story. So that was it was really nice experience. The rooms were spacious, amazing. The midwife, I had two, were great. Michelle was, I think, really there consistently towards the end, maybe towards the whole thing actually. Can't really remember now, but and it was amazing. And my mom was there by God's grace. My husband had music playing on the phone during the labor, which is really nice. So thank God for him. He was there in spiritual presence and over my phone. And then Jenna, I think, wasn't too far, or I dropped my sisters at home, but then brought my firstborn back to meet the baby the same day. And it was amazing. And usually in the NHS system, you can just go home after. But my child was born with like an extra digit, like a finger, which I guess in our culture means good luck. But so they wanted to just check that to see if they wanted to remove it immediately or just wait for it to fall off, and which eventually waited to just get it surgically removed after like a month or so, which was fine. So that was my second birth story. I pray that encouraged you. So I delivered at between 5 and 6 p.m. So I started contracting at 3 a.m. delivered at about 5 and 6 p.m. And so it increased a little bit from my 1 p.m. with my first, but it was still considered pretty fast. So you have 3 stages of labor. There's 3 stages of labor. In the first stage, there's 3 phases: early, active, and transition. And the second stage is pushing, and the third stage is delivering the placenta. Like 12 hours is usually my labors, and so that's considered fast by God's grace, because you have to have that early stage and then it ramps up. Like 12 hours is usually my labors, and so that's considered fast by God's grace, because you have to have that early stage and then it ramps up. So you can use my story to kind of like liaise with how yours went. But honestly, a safe birth is a healthy birth, no matter what method is used. To add was my postpartum, my 4th trimester. So I wanted to add what happened my 4th trimester. So everything went well with breastfeeding. I breastfed my first, baby latched on. I had delayed cord clamping. I had immediate skin to skin. I had immediate baby try and latch to get them colostrum, which she did by God's grace. Make sure I asked for help, no matter how experienced I am. Even with the 3rd, I asked for help to make sure the baby was latching well, so that I don't start to think to myself when professionals are gone that I can that I'll have lots of questions. So I made sure I asked the midwife, am I latching okay? Am I latching correctly? She's like, yes. This baby was sucking, happy. Another thing I had this pregnancy too that I wanted to mention was growth scans. In this country, they have a certain a growth chart of what baby should be. And so my first was small, but she was normal. She was small for me, but was normal, on a normal range in America. Here, she was considered small, even if it was small for me, just not like on the normal growth chart levels. So because of the first, my second was still like, okay, let us scan you to make sure your baby is growing in the projectile. So she was still growing small for me, but she was born small and healthy at complete full term, 39 weeks plus. So if you're getting growth scans, you've had subsequent healthy babies, you can decline your growth scans if you choose to. You can decline anything if you choose to. And so I didn't choose to decline my growth scans, my second pregnancy, but my second came even before my last one. So I knew going into my third that I didn't really want to really have as many growth scans, and I will talk about that in my third birth story to come with footage of my home birth. So postpartum, like I said, everything went well with breastfeeding and all that. And I got home, and I had experienced hemorrhoids with my first during the second trimester. So I knew about them and how painful they were, but I know that they do go away. So I was cautious throughout my pregnancy, to not try and have hemorrhoids, not to strain, not to sit on the toilet for too long, to eat lots of fiber. So everything was going well till like a month postpartum. I got hemorrhoids, and it stayed for like about 4 months. Like I don't know if it was going back in and out. I think it was just out. And during this period, I was in law school as well. It was so uncomfortable. I returned back to school after a month post birth. It's mostly online, but you just go and commute. I went and commuted once a week for tutorials, for like in-class practical teaching of the material that we read. So that was not pleasant at all. And what I did to soothe it was, take baths, try to sit down longer, because when you sit down longer, it's not, I had like an external one. So when you sit down longer, it helps it go back in. I took baths. Don't try to wipe the areas with any wet wipes. Don't do that. Just try and sit down longer, take baths. I had a cream I was prescribed, but it's really just prayer and patience, and then not sitting down too long. Fiber-filled diet, and eventually it went away. So I was very careful my third pregnancy not to have it. And suppositories. I just felt like if I ever felt like straining, I don't even chance it anymore. I just get a suppository and I just put it in, because I think I did that. I just did that once. Yeah, I did that once or twice, and once during that pregnancy or postpartum. So I want to just share that tip, because I know another sister who also had hemorrhoids, and so if you experience that, that's my experience, and those are my tips. So I just thank God for that birth story. And if you have any questions, you can always comment them here or on my blog, and I'll just get back to you with my comments. So thank you so much for watching. Check out my other videos on home education, which will be coming out. Another vlog will be coming out next week. I'm trying to make them longer, and then I'll just continue to also highlight other channels on this platform that can encourage you in your home educating journey, whether you send your kids to school and want to supplement, or you want to fully home educate. So thank you so much for watching. May the peace of the Lord be with you, and God bless you.